Hi. I'm going to go over what we talked about in class today, absolute values. Okay, we've been solving these for a couple days now, but we came across our exceptions today, so we're going to talk about that. Normally, these are the steps. You're going to get that absolute value alone on one side. If there's anything added or subtracted or multiplied or divided, you've got to get rid of all that garbage outside of the absolute values before you're ready to set it up and do your two new problems. Remember, we're going to have a positive answer and a negative answer. So we usually split it into two new problems and solve those. Let's look at this case. If I have the absolute value of 5 equals 9, that one is ready to split into two new problems with a positive answer and a negative answer. When I do that, I'm going to have x plus 5 equals 9 and x plus 5 equals negative 9. Okay? The only thing that changed was the answer. Then I'm going to solve these two little bitty problems and get my new answers. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. I get 9 minus 5 is 4. So I end up with x equals 4. Well, that's cool. On this side, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides of the equation, and I end up with x equals negative 14. I have two answers that make that inequality true, or that absolute value true. Great. That's what we're used to. Now, when we come to our next problem, we have the absolute value of 4x plus 8 equals 8. That one was not ready to solve because I didn't have everything outside of that absolute value cleared away to the other side. So I needed to get rid of plus 8. To get rid of plus 8, I subtracted 8 on both sides. When I do that, this is gone. I come up with the absolute value of 4x equals 0. All right. Now I'm ready to make two new problems. Awesome. But when I look at that, remember that I always took that answer and I said positive and negative. Well, that's all cool when I have a number, but in this case I have a 0. I don't have positive and negative 0. So when I go to split them, I'm left with this question. Hey, here's the problem, but I don't have a negative 0. So I'm going to go ahead and solve it by dividing by 4. She's next door. When I do that, I come up with x equals 0. There is no negative case for 0. So I only get one answer. And that's okay. We've seen that a couple times before, but we haven't really talked about it. Okay? The last situation that we have is when we have the absolute value equaling a negative number. Watch this. If I have the absolute value of x plus 4 equals negative 7. Uh-oh. This should make you a little bit uncomfortable. You should be thinking, hey, wasn't an absolute value going to make everything positive when it came out? Let's consider that. If I consider what possible way I could come up out of an absolute value with a negative 7, let's think about that. If I put a 7 in there, that ends up actually not being a negative, but being a positive. So that didn't work. If I have a negative 7 in there, remember that when I put it through the absolute value sign, it comes out as a positive. So this actually is the absolute value of negative 7 equals positive 7. So that didn't work either. There was no number that I can put through the absolute value symbols that will come out as a negative. It just doesn't work. It's not happening, okay? It should make you like, what? That's not going to work. So we actually have a math symbol for that. We're going to say no solution because there's no way to make this happen. And I'll know if you watch this video or not because the math symbol is actually that little 0 with a line through it. Means no solution, okay? So anytime you see an absolute value, there's nothing else outside of those absolute value symbols on the side, and it's equal to a negative, you have no solution. Don't throw up in your mouth, just write no solution. All right, thanks for watching.